Hello, guys. This is Khiefer. We're sitting here with Kim Rivers, the CEO of Trulieve, and today I would just like to have a nice little chit chat, get to know Kim, get to know the circumstances under how she got into marijuana and how she's put all of her efforts behind, let's say, I want to say a decades-long battle of shifting the mindset and alleviating and loosening the legislation around marijuana inside of Florida. So let's begin. So Kim, if
Yes.
you can give me when did you first get your introduction, I guess, into marijuana?
Oh gosh. Probably in high school, I would say. I went to high school in Jacksonville, Florida, Terry Parker High School, and it's kind of interesting. So my mom was a school teacher turned assistant principal of an elementary school. My dad was a police officer. He was JSO for 25 years. So had kind of an interesting background, but yeah, I would just say kind of the normal exposure, in high school. And then actually a close friend of mine was kind of very into, if you will, marijuana on some different sides of the business, if you will. And I just really sort of started to understand between sort of the social aspect, but then also in talking with my dad and just his frustration level as to, the fact that he was having to spend so much time as a police officer on certain cases that he just felt were ridiculous waste of time. And he had a level of frustration that he was having to spend so many resources when he really felt there were better uses of time and that he could be really focused on more serious issues in the community.
So you touched on a great point. You talked about allocation of resources
Yeah.
to more serious crimes and being able to better help the community. I would like for you to touch on, I guess, how this shift in Amendment 3 will will actually open up the door for a whole lot of individuals that
Hmm.
on the I want to say on the business side of cannabis and marijuana, they'll have a whole nother legal avenue, whether that be through the logistics of distribution, production,
Yeah.
handling, growing, packaging, making products from. There's just a whole different subset of categories that they'll be able to get the foot into the door. And with the blessing of getting Amendment 3 passed, they'll be able to get whatever licenses or backing that the government needs for them to have. So they'll be able to do what they need to do without having the law
Yeah, yeah.
breathing
So I
down
mean,
their neck.
yeah. I mean, first of all, right? I mean, I think let's go to like the individual level first, and then we can go up to the business level, right? I think when you start, really at its core, Amendment 3 is about stopping arrests and making sure that we're stopping the demonization of a plant. And Amendment 3 draws a bright line so that there is uniformity across our state, because unfortunately, in the state of Florida now, there's a whole checkerboard of enforcement, right? You can be in one community and maybe they do a civil citation. You can go in another community and they're putting you in jail, right? For the same amount of weed. And so it's really important that the Amendment 3 is passed so that we have a bright line and there's no discretion up to law enforcement, that you're not going to be arrested, you're not going to be profiled, you're not going to be persecuted for having personal amounts of marijuana. So that, I mean, because that ruins lives. It's ridiculous, frankly, and that's got to come to an end. So that's kind of number one on the personal kind of individual perspective. And then also, there's laws in the state where actually you're not allowed to work in the business. You're not allowed to work in the legal business if you have a marijuana arrest. So, which is crazy. So we've got to stop arresting folks who probably have the best knowledge that need to be in the business here, so that we can continue to evolve and continue to make sure that we've got a good ecosystem here in Florida. But to your point on the business front, we believe that this is going to absolutely create a ton of new business opportunities. Currently there's 25 companies in the state of Florida. There's another 22 that are waiting to be issued. So that's 47 companies. But specifically under the language of Amendment 3, there's authorization for the legislature to issue new licenses, and it is not set what those licenses have to be. So whereas before it had to be, a total vertical integration process where everything that we sell, we have to manufacture all the way down. Now there's an opportunity for the legislature to open it up and create licenses to your point, for people to potentially just be able to do retail or create a brand or be able to distribute or be able to grow. And so we're really excited. And look, we have a large business, but we would love to be able to work with and contract with other businesses to basically, offset some of what we have to do now. And so for us, that's very exciting. It's the way we do business in a lot of other states that we're in, like in Arizona, for example, Ohio, Maryland. So it's a business model that we're familiar with, and really believe that it could really open up a lot of opportunity. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have a sustainable ecosystem that has a lot of different types of businesses and a lot of different types of individuals who are participating in the marketplace, it's over time, right? It's just going to fail. And so, anyway, that's something that we're really passionate about, and I'm really excited about, in terms of the opportunities that'll be created for folks with Amendment 3.
Most definitely. Um, what I would like to touch on is how long have you wanted to be inside of a company as far as like Trulieve?
Yeah, believe it or not, I've been doing this a decade now, which is kind of crazy to think about. We started this company about 10 years ago, with about 10 people. Actually, our first cultivation operation was an old tomato packing plant in Quincy, Florida, right, literally right next door to Piggly Wiggly, that we renovated. And we've grown the company brick by brick, from those early days to today, where we've got thousands of employees across the state. And I feel so blessed and thankful that we've got the folks that work alongside of us every single day, and who are so passionate about what we do, and the ability to really be in a business that changes people's lives. It's one thing to be in a business and to grow it and to scale it, but to be in a business that you also know is doing good, and that, I get to go into a store and talk to our patients and customers, and hear about how, they've replaced, prescription medications, to veterans who have been able to, finally get a good night's sleep, and get off of some of the, medications that they're put on when they come back home, that are very detrimental. Folks that have been able to successfully transition off of opioids. So it's a really rewarding. I just, again, I always say I'm like the luckiest CEO, in the world, to be able to do what I do every day.
That's actually very good. I actually have some very personal stories about some individuals in which some tinctures have saved their life because they
Wow.
got some autoimmune diseases, and it took away the tablet load of pills that they had to take.
Yeah.
So, and like just seeing the transition of them going from like not being able to eat, not being able to hold down food, losing weight, to being able to transition to regaining their strength, to walking, to moving around, to being sociable, to having a more comfort of living, and to raise the standard of their living is just it's been amazing to just see and to also be a part of. And then for
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
awesome.
to be on the forefront of the fight, once we get Amendment 3 passed, you'll have a new customer base, but you're also transitioning into being able to offer these services to anyone that's over the age of 21 who would like to partake. And you also offer information base that you'll be able to give to this new set of individuals that
were deterred from being able to come in and do the thing that they love to do.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's really about, having the opportunity to provide safe access to, to clean, consistent products to Floridians. And look, there are a lot of people out there for one reason or another. Maybe they don't really want to be on a registry. Maybe they can't afford, right, the doctor visit. Maybe they don't have a condition that qualifies currently under the medical program, but that could still benefit from marijuana. And what we see in a lot of these markets is that, yes, in some cases, right, people are using marijuana as a substitute for alcohol or for another vice, and certainly the research shows that it's significantly safer than alcohol as it relates to that has a lot less harmful effects to the human body. But then also what we find in large part is that folks are using marijuana to help them deal with certain conditions, right? Again, whether that be heightened anxiety or sleep disorders or pain, right? I mean, pain's a huge one, where the alternatives for pain relief that exist in modern medicine, certainly they're effective, but they come with a whole heck of a lot of side effects. And so, really what we're talking about is individual freedom. We're talking about adults being able to make adult choices for themselves without fear of being arrested or prosecuted as a result of that choice. And so I think the time has come, and I think that when we look at where we're headed as a country and where we're headed in society, the fact that we've got both presidential candidates who actually agree that marijuana reform is the right move. I mean, they don't agree on anything. So, I mean, it's at the end of the day, right? We're
A
talking
little
about a
ray of
plant. Yeah.
sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, and now really it's about getting people out there and getting people to vote. Um, I always say that, you vote for a candidate and you hope that that person will do what you think that they will do once they're in office, right? But you vote for Amendment 3, right? That is a mandate that marijuana will be legalized in the state of Florida. That is your most direct opportunity to influence an outcome in this election. And so yeah, I mean, we need people to take the time and to exercise their privilege that exists in democracy and get out there and vote and vote yes on Amendment 3.
Thank you. Well, I'm not going to hold up too much of your time. I appreciate you for speaking to me about Amendment 3. Do you have any closing words that you would like to say?
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you tonight as well. No, I mean, I think that again, it's one other thing that I would just say for folks that are there's been a lot of kind of noise out there, that Amendment 3 is the first step, right? We've got to legalize first, and then that's going to provide the framework for us to be able to do a lot of other things. I'm very passionate about expungement and making sure that we right the wrongs of the past for those individuals that may have a charge on their record, that we can get that taken care of once legalization happens. So I'm very passionate about that work. And then also, right, I also feel it's very important for people to be able to have the freedom to grow their own if they so choose. And so those are the things that are on the horizon. But again, it all starts with Amendment 3, because if we don't have Amendment 3, none of those other things are gonna be able to happen. So just encourage everyone to get out there, make your voice heard, make your vote count, and appreciate the vote for Amendment 3 and appreciate the time tonight.
All right, you guys, you heard from Kim Rivers, CEO of Trulieve. You guys have to go out there and vote, exercise your rights, exercise your God given freedoms, make sure that your voice is heard. This is your opportunity to directly impact the laws that are situated around you and impact the things that you want changed inside of your neighborhoods. So, most definitely go out there and vote yes for Amendment 3.